Let's go back to the track, though, for a minute. News here that Shannon Osika has joined Pete Julian's group. Got a lot of new members recently. Pete Julian's group has. Jordan Hasay. And then also in the mid-distance side of things, Sinclair Johnson is there as well. So they got a pretty solid mid-distance contingent now with Jessica Hull there as well. Osika, fourth in 2016 at Michigan, stayed with Coach McGuire, her coach at Michigan, and ran really well. She made the finals for the U.S. in the 1500 in 17, 18, 19, and 2021. She ran 4 flat. She was fourth this past year. A bit under the radar, Gordon, because she didn't win an NCAA title and she didn't join one of these high-profile groups. But I feel like we always say Shannon Osika's name at least once or twice every outdoor season because she's always in that mix.
Yeah, there's always like those people who kind of just like you said, kind of go under the radar due to circumstances of, you know, not having that marquee win. Um, but she's always, I think, I think you meant she's always been making U.S. finals, and eventually one's going to open up. And you have to think, we've talked about this, women's 1500 with no Shelby Houlihan is wide open, right? You could, there's really 2 spots that are pretty much going to be anybody. I mean, Corey McGee and Heather McLean got those 2 spots, earned it 100% at the trials, but you don't look at those 2 athletes as like locks for the next 3 years. The way, you know, so I could think like just every year for the next 4 years, we're probably gonna have a different woman take one of those 2 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shannon's kind of setting herself up for potentially going all in, switching coaches to try to be one of those 2 women to get the second or third place finish at the USA trials.
And there's no guarantee that it'll happen. There's no guarantee that it'll work. Just because you switch coaches doesn't mean you're going to get faster. But this will obviously put her in this training group with these other 2 women who have run very, very fast. You know, right at 4 flat. It's tough to get attention in that event. If you go back and think about it, this is the event that has had American record holders recently, medalists, names like Rowberry, Houlihan, Simpson, and you're right. Now we're seeing a little bit of fraying of that for a variety of reasons, and the opportunity is there for, not just her, but now her new training partner, Sinclair Johnson. But yeah, you obviously got to feel good about Puryear going into 2022, but the rest of those spots are wide open. What do you think in general about Pete Julian's group, which is still named Pete Julian's group? I feel like they need a name. They put out that commercial with all the waves crashing and the llamas and other animals staring at you and everything like that. They need a name. Let's get on that, please. But what do you
I
think
think,
about their decisions for how they're adding folks?
I mean, I'm not against what they're doing. I don't know. I'm kind of Switzerland. I have no really opinion. There's nothing that's like, whoa, like they're not like, hey, we're signing 3 Bowerman athletes or something like that, right? Or like
Yeah.
taking like away from another group, or hey, we have, you know, I mean, who was like the best college kid coming up? Like got Danny Jones from
Mm-hmm.
last year, right? So there hasn't been like a big splash, I would say. There hasn't been like a whoa moment.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe at the end of this school year, there's going to be a woman or 2 or a man or 2 who kind of are like that next big prospect, and they choose group or Ritz's group over the group out, the Puma group out on the East Coast, over Hoka, over Brooks Beasts. So they just have yet to really get a wow person, you know. So right now they're kind of
Well,
having the established that they already had, the NOP
yeah.
holdovers, and a couple like, we're getting Jordan back, and we're getting Shannon Osika, who's been in the pro scene for 5 6 years already, but they haven't got like that big like boom. I mean, I guess technically, I guess they did take someone from Bowerman and Sinclair Johnson, but Sinclair Johnson isn't really Bowerman in my mind. She was there for a year or two. Like
Mhm.
taking someone like a Carissa Schweizer or at least Cranny, that would be a big like boom. I'm
Right.
saying the word
They've
boom a
made
lot
they've
in
made
this
teams.
situation.
You're just you're just like a cooking show host at this point. I think it's interesting
Yeah.
the different tactics between getting somebody who, and they'll probably get a recent college grad as well too once the college season ends, but that versus getting someone who's in their late 20s who's trying to get that extra boost to get over the top. It's just a different approach that I think is interesting.